Let's talk about this. So now it came out, child. When I found this out yesterday, I'll say, disappointed because I am a Zachary Levi fan. And for him to say all of this, like, that definitely disappointed me. Like, I've been a Zachary Levi fan since Chuck. Chuck was like one of my favorite shows. Well, I wasn't that. Well, when did Chuck come out? Like maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, something or another. I grew up watching that show. It was one of my favorite shows. I like the whole premise. And then he tried to do things here and there, but here's the real gag. Now, I don't know why people, we could be all upset or whatever, and I guess, but Zachary Levi's career, he ain't no Ryan Reynolds. Like his career ain't really pop. He ain't no, in regards to like we talking about superhero the playing in that world. He's no, like I said, he's no Ryan Reynolds. He's no Jason Momoa. Yeah, he had Shazam. Shazam was okay. It's not like the top five superhero films that we could all sit and rant and rave and talk about, in my opinion. But yeah, yesterday it came out that, and he was trending all over the Twitter. That basically, they're saying that he got another DC in his mind, Washington, DC, because he's throwing his support behind Donald Trump. So Entertainment Weekly had this story. So shout out to them. So they said during a Saturday Trump rally held in Michigan, Levi made a surprise appearance to moderate a conversation between Robert F. Kennedy and former Hawaii Rep. Tulsi Gabbard. But it's funny how he's throwing his support behind Robert F. Kennedy, who just recently caught up in a cheating scandal. But let's continue. Before welcoming him to the stage, Levi name dropped his DC superhero persona while explaining his decision to endorse the twice impeached former president as he campaigns against Vice President Kamala Harris. And it's funny how a little boy trapped in a man's body, how fitting, because you played that character, a little boy trapped in a man's body, right, would vote for Trump. Because that's the way people look at him. They look at Trump as basically a 78-year-old man baby who wears Depends, smells like God knows what, probably awful, because I've heard the stories that Trump don't smell pleasant. And recently he just came out and said something about how we need a real life purge. Now it's funny how he says that because I feel like that's what kind of has been the narrative, that they feel like when this man gets in office for a second time, that this is basically what we're going to get. That he's giving police full autonomy to just purge not white people, but others. So the gays, the LGBTs, women, black folks, so Latinos. So if y'all think y'all exempt, then you keep believing that delusion. He said, I'm not going to take too much time, but I did just want to give you a little context about why Shazam is sitting here talking to you about these various things. Child, you are not Shazam. You are a character. And first of all, Shazam flopped in the box office. The first one did okay. The second one did worse. So what are you talking about? Say, I grew up in my family that was Christian conservative. That was pretty much the lane that we were in. So what the hell did you become an actor? But you're a Christian conservative. So I guess like I said, go over there and work with Candace Cameron Bure and go over there and work with Kevin Sorbo, because that's exactly when you're going to end up on that family friendly network, whatever the hell that channel is she got, because you ain't going to Lifetime. They're a little too progressive, not a Lifetime. The old one that she used to do, work at. They're a little too progressive. They doing like gay Christmas movies now. So I know you ain't going to want to go over there. And it's weird because I used to think, no shade, but I actually thought that, is it me or does Zachary Levi give gay face? But anyway, Hallmark, that's what I was thinking. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. I said Lifetime. Well, Lifetime and Hallmark, same shit, different toilet. They all produce the same type of content over there. So they also said that my parents were Kennedy Democrats that then turned into Reagan Republicans, and they taught me to have a healthy level of distrust for the government and a healthy level of distrust for industry that runs them up. Okay, so he's been radicalized. Levi, who was loudly supported, voiced his support for RFK Jr. in the past few months, continued. For a long time, I was like, man, I really want to find a politician that represents all the things that I want and I want to see in a presidential candidate. And this year, I found Bobby Kennedy, and I thought, man, this guy has it. He's the real deal. Holyfield. I added the Holyfield part. Levi explained that while in a perfect world he would have the chance to cast his vote for RFK Jr., he is instead content to throw his support behind Trump, saying, "We don't live in a perfect world, you don't say. In fact, we live in a very broken one. Gee, you think? We live in a country that has been hijacked by a lot of people who want to take this place way off the cliff, and we want to stop that, right? Well, it ain't gonna stop with this one you endorsing. Is this man slow?" But anyway, it's my emotions is getting caught up in it. Let me just be professional and just continue. I can't help it. This is what happens when you're a person of color. We have to commentate as we read. Kennedy, who infamously revealed during his campaign that a parasitic worm has eaten a portion of his brain and then died there, suspended his campaign last month, endorsing Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance. Well, I'm thinking that damn worm must have went from his brain into Zachary's. But let's continue. We're here to make sure that we are going to take back this country. We're going to make it great again. We're going to make it healthy again. This is what Levi said during the rally. He says, "I do believe of the two choices that we have, and we only have two, Donald Trump. President Trump is the main that is the man, the main. I was like, Maine. Shout out to, I guess, Boosie, because that's how he say Maine. Maine. What up, Maine? Is the man that can get us there. And he's going to get us there because he's going to have the backing and the support and the wisdom and the knowledge and the fight that exists in Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and former Representative Tulsi Gabbard." Well, I'm starting to think that Zachary's got a short-term memory because y'all acting like Trump ain't been president before. This isn't his first time at the rodeo. This isn't the first time he was in the White House. And a lot of people keep saying, well, the reason why they vote for him is because of those stimulus checks. Here's the thing. The stimulus checks is our money. That's money we're supposed to get. And Trump didn't want to put the money out unless he can get his signature on the checks. But I'm like, this ain't your money. So why are you trying to write on checks? You want to give stimulus checks to people for money that ain't even yours. It's in the government. They're the ones who had to make the decision, not you. So you want to make it seem like you was just giving out money, like you was throwing paper towels at the Puerto Ricans? Like, that's not how that works. And for him, another one who's out here spewing misinformation and disinformation, this is kind of sad. And I think that maybe what it is that Zachary Levi does represent a group of people. Like, I remember, like, he's someone who's notoriously popular at Comic-Con. Throughout the years, whenever it came down to Comic-Con, even before he was Shazam, like, I remember that Zachary Levi would show up at Comic-Con and, a lot of the YouTube pundits were interviewing him and he had like little panels and this, that, and the other where he was talking comic books and hosting events and that sort of thing. So Zachary Levi is very much prominent in that world. And I think like with his stature, he's reaching for a certain demographic. A lot of those young boys or men who like the comic books and who go to that kind of thing. I guess also the ones that like to get up on social media and get mad whenever y'all give a female a lead in a damn comic book movie. So I guess that's probably who he's pandering. That's the base that's going to go and I guess endorse Trump. But they were already endorsing Trump. So based off of the way they be acting, a lot of y'all man babies. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, who is the base that who is he trying to reach? Because you're not pulling women. You're not pulling the gays. You're not pulling people of color. You have certain people that already, are going to go in and endorse Trump. He already got that locked down. So if he's trying to reach across the aisle and bring more people in, the behavior and all the things that Trump is saying as of late, where he's talking about Haitians eating dogs and cats and all this other stuff, he's not gaining any more demographics. Kamala Harris is the one who's pulling all those. And here's the thing, you could choose a vote for whoever the hell you want. That's fine, because as human beings, we should be allowed to do that. But, sir, just know that your actions have consequences. And like I said before, when I was thinking about this, and funny how friend of the show, Robert, basically mentioned this before I even got to the story, and I'm going to insert it in here because when I edit the show and all other stuff and put this clip up, y'all didn't hear what was said prior. So apparently my thought was, I'm worrying about, okay, so what's going to happen to Zachary's career? Because you already know, like, if you come out and you say something that you're for, a certain person, specifically a Trump, who has been very anti-Hollywood, even though he, tried to assert himself in Hollywood for those opportunities, like The Apprentice and things of that nature, and popping up in movies and things. So Trump does love the spotlight. He loves the attention. He likes Hollywood. But because Hollywood is not here for his racist rhetoric, his misogynistic rhetoric, his homophobic and transphobic rhetoric, because they're not all for that, where Hollywood wants to be this inclusion and this place where we welcome everybody. Although I will say this, Hollywood, I love y'all and I like the movies and I'm all about the entertainment. But some of y'all, even though y'all try to perpetuate this image, damn near 100 years of Hollywood being what it is, we still are moving at a snail's pace in regards of evolving and allowing different demographics, genders, sexual orientation, whatever, to have a platform to create movies and films and shows and things of that nature. So we're still moving at a snail pace with that. Although y'all all try to pull up this whole kumbaya inclusion, we love everybody type of energy. So I wanted to look up if there was a follow-up to what he said, because he said that and he's 44. So I'm like, you at your age, your big age. Oh yeah, so they're basically to my yeah. So I wondered if him endorsing him, would this cause career suicide? Because if you're going to come out and endorse somebody like a Trump, and we know what he stands for, and this radicalization and what he's trying to do and all the things that he's standing for, is he killing his career? And apparently, that is something that he fears is going to happen. And I have a strange feeling that the answer is probably yes. Because I was trying to see if there was any if this already has started. So that's why I had to pull up another article to see if there was something in there that corroborates that. Because he says, but I will say though, within my industry, as you could probably imagine, Hollywood is a very, very liberal town, and this very well could constitute career suicide. So that is a fear of his. So only time will tell, I guess, if it does turn out that he will destroy his career. But also, I should say that this isn't the first time he's come under fire with some stuff. And I guess maybe I wasn't paying attention to it before, because they said that he made headlines for sharing controversial opinions, including the criticism of the SAG-AFTRA strike, which he later walked back. Prior to that, 2 months before the release of Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which was terrible, Levi shocked fans with his response to a tweet asking if COVID-19 vaccine maker Pfizer posed a real danger to the world. And also, I should point out, because he did respond by saying hardcore agree. So he thinks that Pfizer taking any kind of like the medications, whatever, they're supposed to prevent you from getting COVID, even though a lot of us did end up getting COVID. I wound up getting it, I believe, twice. But because I took the vaccine, I didn't end up like a lot of people that I know who ended up who already had I don't have like prior illnesses, but I know people who had prior illnesses. It could be cancer, it could be HIV, whatever the case is, that affects you with the COVID. And I know people that passed away, and or if you're an older person and that sort of thing. So I know people who actually passed away from COVID complications. So he's a COVID denier, which is also what RFK Jr. is. So when you say stuff like that, you sound like you just a conservative nut. But then they also said that the tweet sparked such controversy that it eventually made its way to DC Films co-chairs James Gunn and Peter Safran, who were asked to weigh in on the tweet and Levi's future in the DCEU during a January 2023 press event on the Warner Brothers lot. Well, they said, just real simply, actors and filmmakers that I work with are going to say things that I agree with and things that I don't agree with. And that's going to happen. I can't be changing my plans all the time because an actor says something that I don't know, that I don't agree with. And I agree with James Gunn on that. It's like, now you're going to say something that I don't agree with, and that means what? I got to fire you? That's why I'm still mad at the fact of what they did with Melissa Barrera, because she went and said what she said, and she's standing for Palestine. Then not radio silence, that Spyglass decides to come in. Oh, we're going to fire her because we don't like what she said. We're Zionists. So those Palestinian lives don't matter. Jews matter more so than they do. So I'm not going to, we don't want her a part of the franchise, so let's fire her. The same thing with Zachary Levi. Now, if he could sit out here and say what he want to say, and then they're like, you know what, we already got the thing written, there's things he's going to star in it, you can either support it or you don't. But I'm not going to cancel someone because they have a difference of opinion, whether I agree with it or not. We can't go around just doing that. Now, like I said, I'm disappointed in what he said, and I'm disappointed in the fact that he's standing behind someone that basically wants me dead. That basically wants to put forth Project 2025, which is going to take away the rights of anybody who isn't white and male and have a lot of money. So these rich folks can go around, these oligarchs can go around and do whatever the hell they want, but fuck us. And that's basically what you're saying by getting behind him. So I don't know what the hell happened to Zachary Levi. Maybe he was always this way, but he's feeling, he got big balls and he wants to come out and he wants to show off those cojones and let us know how he feels. So I don't understand, at the end of the day, for someone who has made a career playing smart people on camera, clearly is less than smart with his recent endorsement. It's like, I don't understand, how someone like Zachary can throw his weight behind someone who wants to eradicate everyone who isn't white and male. But I guess, since his policies, I guess, for Project 2025 won't affect him. And like I said earlier, if this does affect his career, he can always star in a movie alongside Scott Baio, Candace Cameron Bure, and Kevin Sorbo. There's definitely an audience out there where he can do those faith-based movies, whatever the case is, because if he thinks that he's going to work in liberal Hollywood and endorse someone who is trying to destroy the very industry that he is making millions of dollars off of, and that's fine. But it's funny how, also I want to point out, because Robert did say, and I don't know, I need to look in and see if this is actually factual, but they said that he lost you said, what was it, his agent and his manager and all that other stuff. He said he lost some friends, he lost his agent because of who he's standing behind. And I do feel like that. It's like, you know what, we can agree to disagree on certain things, but if you if you align yourself with someone like a Trump, and if you got black friends and you got gay friends and you got female friends who basically wants to tell women that they can never have an abortion, even with rape and incest. If you want to tell black people that you're endorsing Trump, but Trump doesn't even care about black people. Y'all thought George W. Bush didn't care about black folks? Trump didn't care, but before y'all even know about a George W. Bush and his policies in politics, Trump was out here making sure that black people couldn't rent in his buildings. And then you want to go against the gays, the LGBTs, who there's already things in place based off his thing, because he's running around here proud that he got rid of abortion. That's what he's talking about. I'm so glad and I'm proud that I was able to do that. And then when you want to talk about the queer community, where there's certain places where young children who are having transgender thoughts and identify as trans because more of the information is out here and they're doing the research and the family's doing the research and they want to do the hormone blockers and they want to go and get the therapy and stuff. So that way they want to make sure, the parents want to make sure that this is something that these kids want to do, because yes, they go through different stages before you get caught up in the removal of the genitalia, which people tend to get too caught up in. Y'all worry so much about somebody's genitalia, but don't even understand the complexities of what it's like to be a trans child or a trans person. So the trans care and things that's going on and the crackdowns on drag queens performing in certain places, this is things that Trump and his ilk are trying to put in place. So if Zachary Levi is behind that, then I wouldn't be. Look, if I was a friend of his, we'd have to. I'm like, I'm sorry, but we can't be friends no more, because you're literally putting your hat in the ring behind and endorsing someone who wishes me harm as a human being, as a person of color, as a woman, as someone a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And this is the exact industry that you work in, where you're dealing with all these different diverse groups of people. So now if I'm working across you on set, I'm wondering what's going on. So you don't even like me as a human being. So why should I give a damn about you as a person? So, sir, remember, y'all can endorse who the hell y'all want to endorse, but you have to realize there's repercussions to your actions. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on this whole Zachary Levi, are y'all disappointed in the fact that Shazam is out here supporting this moron? Let me know in the comments down below.